Hi guys, I am in Brisbane in Australia and we are on a 2-week trip here celebrating Trinny London and the publication of my book, which was also published in Australia this week. And I have realised that I haven't sat down with you at all and gone through with you all the things I've been asked every morning on TV shows here, which is why did I write it and who is it for, etc. But I have had, over the last few years since I started doing social, lots of people who would say, Trinny, where can I find this thing you said? And it could be that it was on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. And I would always try and take time in my DMs to get back to people. But there were, every day, a lot of these comments. And a lot of people saying, can you just put it all in a book? And at the same time, I was approached by 3 publishers to write a book, and I hadn't written a book for years. But I thought, actually, maybe I could. And I thought, well, what would I divide it up into? So what I talk about with all of you is probably equally how we feel in life for the stage we're in, and what prevents us moving forward, and what are the challenges. And that's in the section called Life. I'm asked so often, how do I know my skin, hair and eye and what I suit? Clothing, necklines, face shape. So less rules, but just helpful suggestions. So there's a section in the book which is called Identify Yourself, and it will end up giving you colour palettes that suit you. And from there, that's also connected to Trinny London. So if you go on Trinny London, do Match to Me, and you now get your stag, 1-to-1 matches, and you get all these colour palettes, but online you click on that colour and you'll see 2 colours that go with it. So they're sort of, it connects it. And then there's about my energy. So I'm asked that a bit, how do I have this energy? And I definitely have times when I can be really tired. We've had a grueling schedule and we are, like, I felt very entitled today. I sort of had a hissy fit about staying in a hotel, which felt very surrounded by concrete, having had the most incredible place in Sydney. And the team are just like, I don't know, I had a little bit of a moment and I realized maybe I'm a little bit tired. But where do I get my energy, and what gives me my energy, and what it takes to be an ageless woman? And that's something that we talk about a bit on this channel. So I go into that about energy underpins everything we do and how you can supercharge your energy. I talk about self-worth and self-belief. I talk about you are not your thoughts, and so often in my life I've been taken down a dark hole by my thoughts, but it hasn't necessarily been me. It's just been where my frame of mind has been that day. But I kind of go into a little bit of detail on it. And then I have this section which is ask yourself and challenge yourself, because to move forward, I can't just read something personally. I need to then think, what should I take away from that? And how can I incorporate that knowledge to do something differently? So I kind of try and help you navigate that. So that's...
Still whispering.
I'm still whispering. I'm whispering because the energy's low, I'm whispering probably, yeah. Hello. Maybe also, I don't know if it's whatever. I have this other thing too, standing on quicksand or solid ground, because for many years I felt I stood on quicksand because I didn't kind of know who I was, where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. This happened, I had this moment in my 40s, not just my teens and 20s. So we can all reach those points where we suddenly feel a little bit lost and we need to find ourselves again. So that's life. I talk about bills, I talk about balancing finance. I have had times in my life when I've found that very challenging. The importance of keeping up with technology. So lots of friends in our life, something I did called the friendship wheel. And it's all, is our energy being taken? Are we giving a tremendous amount of energy without getting much back? And I think it's really important just to kind of take a step back sometimes and look at those points that's in there. And then we get on to beauty. So beauty for me is more about giving you tools to do what you choose to do. So giving you the information. So within beauty, I have a lot on what is a good skincare routine, what are, dialing down on ingredients, what are the essential things and what are the non-essential things, what you should focus on each decade, and then the details of ingredients, because there's so many ingredients out there, whether you buy Trinny London or somewhere else. What should you be looking for your issue? So if you're led by, I have acne, or I have sensitive skin, or I have rosacea, or whatever it might be, what are the things that will help your skin to do that? So I have a lot of, things like this. They're sort of, this is the most juicy part of what I call a manual. Yes.
So Catherine is saying, good morning from Paris. She
Good morning
loved
from
reading
Paris.
Fearless. And then who can benefit from this book?
Well, I've met many people who bought it, and they all tell me different ways they benefit. So some people, the life advice has really resonated with them, and it's made them think about things in their life in a different way. Other people never knew what colours they suited, and they're really drawn into just getting some sense of honing in. It's much, when we have too much choice, paradox of choice paralyzes us from deciding what to wear, how to present, lots of things. So just having these little extra bits that say you suit from this palette, and different types of styles you can try, the most I'd say the bit I found the funnest to do was actually looking at 6 different styles, which I think are quite interesting, cover most of the ground of what style you want to pursue. And there's modern classic, which is, how do you go from being classic dress to modern classic? What are those tweaks that you can do? And I think a lot of women find themselves in a situation where they feel maybe they've perhaps come a little classic, or they don't know, they want to be still fashionable or stylish, but it's like, where do I start? Or what are those key things that are going to help me? So I do like the 10 non-essential essentials. But in these areas, I have the modern classic, the boho, the eclectic, the rock chick, the minimalist, the softly feminine, the always sexy. And these are just some examples. And then I dress in those ways and say what kind of things in your wardrobe to have, some you want leathers or sequins or fit or loose or monochromatic or lots of color or print. And I think we intuitively know a lot about ourselves, and sometimes we don't trust our judgment. So it's leaning into what brings you joy, and ultimately dressing and how we present ourselves. To me, getting it right should be able to do 2 things. It should give you energy, bring you joy for yourself and for those around you. There are many times we've been doing book signings in Australia. We did one last night at this lovely Derwents in Sydney, and there were about 500, 600 women there. And all these women came up, and what was staggering is like 80% of them were in the right colours for them. And you could see immediately, my God, wearing the right colour, how present they were. They were experimenting, with challenging themselves on how they dressed, trying their makeup differently. And these are not superficial things. These are things that actually fundamentally can feed our sense of self. And the more we know ourselves, and I've met many women who might feel I know myself, I have intelligence around myself, and so I'll dismiss the importance of the aesthetic of myself. And the aesthetic of myself is, to me, all about being present. So how can we feel incredibly present in our life throughout our life, whatever decade we're living in? So that essence is really, we have life, we have style, and we have beauty in this book. It's very heavy. I want, I think I want as many people as possible to have to be able to read it, because I wrote it with love. I wrote it with many women in mind that I felt could benefit, or on a journey already, or were struggling to think how they could get to begin that journey. So all those different stages, I think there's bits in here for everyone. Yes, Chloe.
So Jenna was there last night, and they were so energized, they're saying. Then someone else just got it for a self-present for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then someone else is asking, what are you doing in Brisbane, if we have any Trinny London in Brisbane?
We don't yet, but we will be, I hope. We have doubled the size of our retail in Australia. We were like Melbourne and Sydney, and now we're 2 in Sydney, in Bondi and in Warringah. And we are in Melbourne at Doncaster Westfield, and we're in Perth And we're going to be in Brisbane, and we're going to have a second one in Melbourne as well. And it's so exciting. It's really amazing being here. I love being in Australia because Australian women are fantastic. They're very, what you see is what you get. I like the transparency of an Australian woman, and it has a good energy. I love a place with good energy. So it's great to be here. And we've come up to Brisbane, which I haven't been to for about 15 years. Had lunch today on the river with some influencers and press. And it was good to be back. We've been slightly rainy Sydney, fabulous Sydney, and then we're off to Melbourne on Monday, and then we go to Perth on Wednesday. Now, there are book signings, and there are tribe events. The tribe events sold out literally in a day, but the book signings have also now sold out. And I have asked the team, could we just have, if people just turned up at the bookstore and bought a book and got in the queue, is that okay? So that's what I would suggest you do. Okay, you didn't hear it from me. But it was a little bit chaotic yesterday, so it took a while. It might take you a while in the queue, but I really want to see as many people as possible when I'm here and meet as many people as possible when I'm here. So I think by the end of this, we would have met about 3,000 women maybe, which is fantastic. Really.
A lot of people already are reading it, and they're learning every day something about themselves, so they're really happy and they thank you. And a lot of people are obsessed with your dress.
Oh, yes.
Talking about energizing dressing.
Yeah, this is an energizing dress, I tell you. This dress, Chloe and I just did an after the day in this dress, but this dress I got I went to a dog fair, and in this dog fair was a vintage shop. So I had newly puppy mad Daffy, and I was entering her for some things, and nobody saw the beauty in her that I saw in her. But then I saw this little kind of stall, and they had this dress, and it was a classic shift dress. It's a long dress. And so I cut off a bit of the hem, and I made, well, as Susanna did, I made this extra here, because normally a shift dress can be like that. So this is like, when we talk about things, about taking things from classic, even though you might think this dress is not classic, it's a classic sort of 50s dress. But that's how it would have been made. So just adding that little bit there, broadening out the shoulder so it gives more emphasis on the waist. These are all little tricks that I have put in the book. This necklace is Leah Ginsberg, sending her my love right now. And I have some shoes from Penelope Silvers here, which are, this is called Pattern Clash, which is also in the book. So, you know, what are the colours that I've taken from each? And there's that red and the pinky tone, which are in the dress. So, you know, it's adventurous, and I thought, is it Brisbane? You know, is it Gold Coast? Is it Brisbane? So I felt I want to just do fun outfits for you all when I'm on this trip, because I know you enjoy those moments of what we do. So yeah, I'm happy in this one today. Actually, I have got a few a few suitcases with me, because we'd been in New York, and the team went from New York, London, New York, and New York all the way round to Australia. So they're going to have been away for 3 weeks. So packing at the airport with like 18 suitcases. And we've gone from sort of 12 degrees to 30 degrees. So complicated, isn't it, Chloe? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One last question. How did you find writing this book, Trinny? The process of it.
I spoke it, because I'm very bad at writing. I'm all right at writing, but you know how many mistakes I make in spelling, and you know how many mistakes I make when I do autocorrect. You know, when I dictate. I spend a lot of my time, like, if I'm doing an Instagram piece, I'll just, like, put in my phone and go, and then it just says the weirdest stuff, and I sometimes can correct it, and sometimes I don't, because I don't have my glasses on. So I spoke it into audio. And I'm better at speaking. When Suzanne and I wrote books together, Suzanne, a phenomenal writer, and her latest book, Ready for Absolutely Nothing, is brilliant. So when you're going to get mine, if you haven't got hers yet, you should get hers, because it's the funniest book. It's a memoir. And she has a way of writing which, you know, her way to write gets even more expressive than perhaps her speech. I don't know, they're both equally, but I think I'm the opposite. I think I can be most expressive when I speak, more than when I write by hand. So I did that, and I did it at weekends and late evenings, and juggling Trinny London, and the book has been somewhat challenging. But I'm happy I've done it because I think it spreads the word of what we do as a business. And it is that element, you know, as a business, founding Trinny London, it's how can I get to more women to shift or change or help them in some way. So actually building a beauty brand does do that more than having a TV show, for example. And then a book can amplify that even more. So I like how they all sit together. I think they all have a place in the jigsaw of what we offer as a team. And that's it. So I hope you're enjoying our trip from Australia, and we're loving it. And thank you so much if you are from Australia watching this, because people have only just woken up in England, and in America you'll be asleep. Thank you for the fantastic welcome that we're getting. And you know, as a team, we work very tightly together. We work with an amazing, can I just give a shout out now? She might not see this, but amazing PR company called Portobello, and they've worked so incredibly hard to bring everything together. And a joyous moment, I just got now a little bit of press where all these people came to this sort of buzzy lunch we gave, who are well-known people in Australia, and they were just all of them leaving this lunch with Trinny London bags. Did you see that on the app?
So cute.
So cool.
And we have a really sweet message saying, yeah, you and your team are so lovely. Met you in Sydney last night. The Trinny brand is definitely more than the products and more about caring for women.
That's like the best thing we could hear.
Right?
Yeah, the best thing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, and we'll catch up again soon.